But the reality is people that know how to use AI now will replace people that do not embrace AI, do not use this in the right way, etc. Because if you don't, someone that using it will basically be faster than you.
Welcome to another episode of the Elite Entrepreneurs Podcast. We're just delighted today. We've got and it's Vadim Peskov, is that right?
Yeah, Vadim, yeah.
Vadim, we're just so glad to have you on the call, especially just with your kind of understanding in your industry and your niche and some of the things you could share. But before we get there, why don't you just tell me a little bit how you got into business in the first place? I mean, you're the owner of Diffco. Um, and you do several other things, including investments and advisory, a lot of startup things, especially in the AI tech space. How did you get started? What kicked off this passion?
It's a it's a long story, but I will try to make it short and entertaining. So I always start that it was a 2008, and I work as a CIO and in one organization back then, and it was fun, etc. Before the crisis started, and we basically was put in a question of like, hey, we cannot continue working, etc. And like, hey, let's do something. And we're like, okay, what we can do? Like, let's start a business. Again, we was young, a little bit stupid, probably more stupid than young. But it was the idea was like, okay, let's do this business and let's see how it's going. Again, back then it was a little bit different idea, a little bit different markets. It was fun. And we changed and pivoted multiple times. That was a really enjoyment process. And yeah, so this is how it's originally started. We started as a service business, building different web projects, and now we moved to building a lot of large enterprise projects, a lot of SaaS projects, and a lot of AI and complex type of solutions. But yeah, it was a fun start that started because of the crisis, and I always want to thank this opportunity because if we would have really stable markets, it would be boring. So I think it's always fun to start there.
Well, good. I mean, it it was a wonderful little ride of insanity. Ton of opportunities, a ton of lost money, just a ton of pivots, right?
Yeah, and this is good. Again, you want uncertainty because the uncertainty is actually what creates the drive. If you have the stable situation, you're kind of bored and you don't want to move. But like when you really push to the wall, you actually become like, oh, now I can actually do something. And sometimes for many people, it's much harder to make these assumptions and make some action before they faced with a gun to their head. So it's a kind of reality of the human nature, but also I think if it would not be this crisis, I don't know what I would be doing today.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. One of the little phrases I love most is a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. Right?
Yeah, make all the lemon possible from sorry, make the all lemonades possible from the lemons. So it's
Yeah,
really simple.
yeah.
It's again for some like your loss is my opportunity. So it's really simple.
Well, there's another little up, you know, things creeping up in the market right now that are really taking hold, and it's an area you specialize in. All of this AI space. Everyone's wondering, what do I have to do with my business? How do I respond to my markets better? How do I integrate this? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? Some of the big challenges that we should be thinking about, or that maybe your business uses and embraces to bring about the change, to pivot the way we need to.
I mean, so let me start by kind of quick excursus here. So a couple of years ago when all this ChatGPT era of new AI started, we had this idea, hey, now AI will replace humans. And unfortunately, for now, it's not true, or maybe fortunately, depending what vision on the future you have. But the reality is, people that know how to use AI now will replace people that do not embrace AI, do not use this in the right way, etc. Because if you don't, someone that using it will basically be faster than you. They will deliver better result. They will iterate faster. And by the end of the day, business is just ability to faster iterate, do more tests, do more pivots, do tests that will allow you to understand what the better product market fit, whatever you, your goals are. And this is the simple answer to, hey, what you want to focus on, what the solution there. So I think the right answer is actually to have um, implementing AI across the board there, to implement more things that important for you as a company, for you personally, and just trying to use this. Again, if you're not using this tool, it's something is wrong, because some other competitors will use this and they will overcome you. And doesn't matter which industry, by the way. So it's not specific to like, hey, we doing laundromats or like wherever. Well, it's like completely not connected to tech, but it's a many ways how you can use AI to optimize your operational process, etc. That will be allowing you to push more and do more effective things, specifically with use of AI. But if we're talking about like tech companies and tech-enabled companies, in this case, AI is basically um, the solution that you need to test. And again, some different companies will have a different approaches on like, hey, we'll hire a consultant that will bring the value there, etc. But I always like want to emphasize it's really damn simple. Hey, find the folks that can actually uh, do this internally, or
Yep.
hire folks internally, or figure out this them yourself. Because if you do not have a clear picture how to do this, your competitors will.
Let's talk a little bit in a practical way for businesses that are, say, your size or smaller. Now you've got 50 some odd people on your team that do great work out there. But let's pretend you weren't in tech. Let's pretend you were in like home services or whatever other industry, a law firm, all sorts of things, from labor intensive to more thought work. Um, but a lot of people are talking about AI as though the individuals all need to learn and know how to master and do. But for our business, we can't wait for our 40 people to all individually learn at their level and hope they all pull in the right things and stick it in there. How do you recognize it, or how do you recommend a smaller business leverage this technology, get it into the business in a thoughtful, purposeful way to make it just part of the way they do work?
Great question. So I think this will be really dependent on type of the business and what the goal there. But again, any kind of home services, I think it's a lot of things that could be done. Um, First of all, again, it's a on a marketing side of things. So you can create more content, you can automate even content creation. You can automate a lot of things on customer support and sales process, a lot of interactions. It's a lot of tools. Again, you don't need to build, like a new wonderful tool there. You can just take and use it. So it's many products that will allow you to create a copy of your representative that will just answer the phone and will do this 24/7, that you cannot do right now with humans. I mean, they want to sleep, they want to kind of like have extra pay if they will work overnight, etc. But AI don't really care. You will pay this AI much less than you will pay for human, and it can create appointments for you. It can schedule wherever, it can answer the general questions, etc. If it's more complex, it will transfer you to human basically. But again, this is one simple example. But like, just again, simple way of looking into this, and like when we do AI transformation dives, we typically will have the full flow of the customer and full internal flows laid out, and we'll discuss like, okay, how we can improve this process, what we can do here, how we can take mechanics on let's say the processes for creating the better emails for our clients, how we can better serve them there. Can we, let's say we providing them estimates, just to make it simple example, and our estimates will be really technical, and maybe it will be a long list of things that only professionals can understand. And can we create a simple tool for us to create a summary for people that don't really understand this in a way that we would be explaining this? Can we simplify this? I mean, just making a simple thing. I can send you invoice that will have 20 different items, and you will be asking, what the heck is bill 1.5, wherever. And everyone in industry knows that this is this type of hardware, wherever. But in reality, can we make AI explain this to the human? Again, this is one simple example. Can it be done? Yes. Do you need a lot of qualification for this? Hell no. It will take you literally like maybe 30 minutes to create this tool with OpenAI, and you will be paying like $20 per month or something like this, or like for the whole thing. So it's again simple. But the ways that how you can serve customer better or how you can optimize the processes. So this is the typical question that you will be asking yourself when you want to implement. Again, if it's not tech related business.
Yeah, and so the way you're talking about it again is whatever person owns a process, a piece, P&L, or a delivery, or a customer, satisfaction level, whatever, whoever owns that, that they now have the job to learn the language of AI, not to write a new thing, but just to integrate that into the way they do things is what you're suggesting, rather than say right now you've got maybe an IT team or a fractional one that you use to pull them in and say, hey, come help us optimize and put AI everywhere it needs to be and teach us.
Oh
You
no.
say, no, the team, it's made to work with just the normal day-to-day person.
Yeah, absolutely. So those tools primarily could be used by normal human beings. That again not required you to have any technical knowledge. And again, IT could be really helpful in some cases, but those tools is primarily not like IT related tools. Again, you don't need to have a master's in computer science to talk with ChatGPT. Just talk to this as a normal human. Again, general rule of thumb, please explain this wherever AI that you're using, please be more specific. Because if you just ask, hey, can you create for me a better invoice for the customer, better looking invoice for the customer, it will probably do a terrible job, because I don't know what is it better for you specifically. So please explain what better mean. It's like, hey, I want this to be looking this way. I want to it have those type of things, etc. Please provide this knowledge. Again, it's a again 10 different uh, options how you can write the same thing. But the truth is, by the end of the day, it is a question. Just communicate as a normal human. But again, be aware that it doesn't really know anything about you unless you tell it to.
Yeah. Now, but going back to what you first said again, AI is not going to replace people, but people who embrace and use it well will replace people who don't, right?
Absolutely.
And therefore, the businesses that learn to embrace and use these well will replace those businesses who don't, because they'll be able to respond faster, cleaner, better. Thank you. Well, fun little connection there. Uh, you got a good business going, and you have a lot of opportunity to help people build out all sorts of solutions in the growth there. What are you hoping to achieve with Diffco there over the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years?
It is very right question to ask and really complex to answer.
Yeah.
um, I think like in our industry, specifically, again, our business is to uh, deliver software development projects for the clients or provide staffing solution for them. I think in many cases, our industry is really changing and changing really quickly. And right now, everyone thinking that, hey, you can write a lot of things with AI. And AI can replace developers. The truth is, it cannot. It's not near the question. It can enhance the developers. It can give it more speed. It can give the developers more opportunities to do different things faster, but it's still not replacing this. And the same is true for like, hey, can we take developers that doesn't really know anything and give it AI? And by the end of the day, it will be developers that doesn't really know anything, but with a better tool to do this work. Again, same example, you hired a contractor that doesn't really know how to build houses, but now you provide them a better equipment. They still doesn't really know how to build houses. So the same story applies. So I think for us, it is really interesting to see what will happen next 3 years, because again, if we would had this conversation like 5 years ago, I would have much more clear answer. Right now, again, I don't know what will happen tomorrow, man. Like, I literally don't, because like it is like it's hard to predict. uh I think a lot of uh products will be built, a lot of um automation will be created, and I think we will start doing less stupid labor. This is for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's also an opportunity for us to change the narrative and change the approach. I think in the 3 years, we still will not have AGI, just to be clear. I'm not big believer that it will happen next 3 years. It will happen, but I don't know if it will happen next three. It's probably more. We probably will have more advanced models that will allow us to create more things and act more smarter. But in the same way, I don't think we will be replacing humans. I think we will be allowing one person to build certain type of things faster. And we will see some folks that just solarpreneurs or smaller teams that building things for sure. I mean, even today, uh, we see the shrinkage of the investment rounds for many companies, because you don't need so much development resources, because you can use a lot of ready-to-use tools. I'm not even talking about AI. AI is
Yeah.
additional
Yeah.
enhancement there, because previously you needed like 50 million to build a IT company, so tech company. Now, like after it's moved to like 5 million, now it's like moving to like 500K, you already can build a lot of things. So I think it's really helpful to think about that. This will shrink the market and will create more amazing companies, which will equal more iterations, more quality of work, and more opportunity for our country to grow.
Yeah. Um, what within your business, what challenges are you facing in the like if it's not tech, because tech is like leverageable and it's just going to keep growing and doing, and people are still core to architect those solutions and lead those teams. What are some of the challenges you see coming on a leadership front?
I think one of the interesting stories that we see a lot of enterprises now, like, hey, you can develop things faster with AI. We will need to have less humans doing the work, kind of mentality. In reality, it's not completely true. Again, we can do things faster. We can probably write like 30% with AI. I don't think we here there that we can actually allow to create full products with like one human orchestrating the work. Again, in some ways, simple products, yeah. Can it be done on a large scale enterprise product with a lot of compliances, where let's say it's a healthcare related, banking related, or like any complex type of product like this? Not yet. Uh, but in a enterprises mindset, it is like, hey, now it could be done with AI, and it could do the work in the same quality that human will, and it will make no mistakes. No, it's not true. It's the kind of reality that we facing on a daily basis, and explaining to all of our customers, telling them like, we're not there yet. We cannot create the tool that will have zero error rates using current LMs. It's just not the way how they design today. It is not possible. Can we enhance the humans to do the less work? Can we speed up this by maybe even 90%? In some cases, yes, but it will not replace the human yet. And I think this is the uh, wonderful idea that many executives wants to believe, and we want to see this as an opportunity to create the right tools. But again, still with the idea that it will have some limitations. Um, but the truth is, it also will have uh, the limitations maybe today, and we need to think about many enterprise use cases that will happen next um, year or two. Because again, we're building a lot of product today that actually will be used in a year from now. And AI from year from now, it's completely different story. And now we need to think about like, hey, how the models will perform a year from now to create the products that will allow this enhancement. So this is the challenges that we see today.
All right. Well, I mean, our time is running short, and we really appreciate some of the things you shared. And if people, Vadim, if they want to get in touch with your organization, because you guys actually know how to do this inside of companies, how to help them, how to help leverage it, how to program well the various tools they have. You're a staff augmentation and full dev shop that can take care of things for them. How would they get in touch with you?
So really simple. So in equations of like development, you can just Google company Divka, or just go directly to our website divka.us. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and other platforms if you want to connect with me directly on any like investment questions or advisory questions. But yeah, the company is really simple, divka.us.
Great. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. For all those listening, um, as you're striving to implement, use the tools that are there to augment your team to help that move forward. There are experts we could turn to get a little bit of insight and advice, but it's really about getting our hands messy, getting in there and doing it and trying it out is kind of what he shared with us today. Until next time, keep growing, keep striving, and keep learning.